There's one stock that is about to break out, in my opinion. This is an oil stock. It's not surprising that with the market pulling back a little bit, oil is a safe haven. Crude oil did go up a little bit, and this stock did as well. It's building a base. It could have an opportunity in the next week, month to go up. It's a slower mover. It's Chevron. You've heard of it. CVX is the ticker. Let's jump into the chart and a little bit about what's going on here for Chevron. So here is the chart, and if we zoom out on a 5-year chart, we can see that we've pretty much gone in this base forever. Okay, so I'm being a little bit crafty here and giving you a stock that only moves 4% a day, and might go up now, it might take a month or more. Okay, and the reason I'm giving you a safe stock like that is that the market has been pulling back the last couple of days. On the weekly, we can see that pullback. If we look on the daily, we can see that even more clearly. And yeah, it did bounce off this moving average, but also, there's room 3%, 5% down. So there's no reason in giving you ideas like Oklo, which has just dropped, 15%. You could say maybe more, depending on exactly how you measure it. But from 140 to 120, it's a lot. And then a lot of these other quantum names pulling back a little bit. QBT is actually holding up okay, but IONQ, a little pullback. These stocks had to pull back. They went on this insane run. So now the question is, when you look across the full spectrum of companies, and we can do that here, sorted by market cap, and see, what's going on. Well, if we start with the biggest companies, things are pulling back, okay? NVIDIA sort of held today, but it's still building out this base. All these names are red because they are down. So Google, just barely holding. Amazon looks terrible. Broadcom, not great. Taiwan Semi, Tesla pulling back. Oracle pulling back. Palantir pulling back. Alibaba, even a Chinese company, pulling back. So am taking a look at oil stocks in general. You can see some green names on this list. These are all in the oil industry. The energy names are doing just swimmingly. And when we look at crude oil, it looks pretty good. This is the futures, and we're up 3 days in a row, the exact opposite of the market. Makes sense? It doesn't always make sense, but in this particular case, this makes sense. And sure, we've had some stocks that have done well. MP and these rare earth material stock that's now owned by the government in part, 15% stake, or 10% stake. I have to check me on that one. $400 million, it's a lot. Is still holding, and so is this little baby rare earth, cousin of MP, United States, something American Resources, whatever it is. It's USAR. This is the chart, and it's a post-SPAC play. So if we look at all the different sectors, we can sort of see, metals are okay, oil's okay, and then aerospace just getting clobbered, the slow movers getting clobbered, even the vertical takeoff sort of drone category stocks starting to pull back a little. This was already overextended. That's a bad example, but KTOS holding okay. The SpaceX proxy Rocket Lab pulling back. We'll see if it holds, but all this to say, we could run through this in detail. Look at Joby, another vertical takeoff aircraft stock. Look over at this battery stock, QS, okay. Uber and Lyft down. The market was down, okay. And what's holding up? Well, some of QS is actually a Chinese stock, which is why it's holding up. So we'll talk about NEO in just a second as well. But in general, when you look across the market, things are down. These Carnival cruise lines not cruising right now, and even pharmas, QURE kind of ignited the sector, but in general, I still don't know that I want to buy that. They have that Huntington disease news. They're up 30%, and their sympathy CLPT is up on a double here as well. So we'll call that good for a run through on this particular summary, but this is the name I'm trying to get you to. And the reason I ran through all those is that, well, I didn't just pick this name out of a hat. There are not a lot of options here, and it makes sense that the options that you do long, and I'm sort of forced to give you longs here because most people don't short, so we're talking about longs. It's also safer, it's smart to long, it's less stress, I promote it. this is a good opportunity. It is moving up. It is going up about 20% in the last few months. It's slow, and it is in this massive channel if we zoom out. But if we can attribute this to tariffs, which fine, yeah, works with the tariffs, we can say that, hey, there's a story here that this could break out and become the next big runner. There isn't really an analog for a runner in the oil sector because they're all kind of slow, in my opinion. I guess that's not fair, but look at these. APA, it's kind of a low-priced one that moves quickly. ConocoPhillips, that's super slow. That's not. EQT is another oil one. It's moving up, but not in any type of fashion that's predictable. It just broke this channel and went up. Similar, it looks very similar to crude, so that's not really viable. So BTU, another one that has just been overextended. So the name has to be CVX, Chevron. This is the place to buy it. This is the level going back to February of this year before tariffs. Sort of some resistance there. Maybe they sold, probably most likely sold, but there might be some bag holders still there providing some overhead supply. But once it breaks through there, it looks like there's some green skies over just this volume here attributed to this trading activity here. So that's the ticker, that's the plan, and we're going to cut it here because there's only so much we can talk about chart-wise. We will jump into what it does, don't worry, but we already looked at some of the peers, ExxonMobil, BP, Shell. These are, of course, well known. This is what they look like. ExxonMobil actually looks pretty good. BP looks good too, doesn't it? Shell looks, I wouldn't touch that, but arguably ExxonMobil is even the better buy than Chevron as I make this video. It's hard to say exactly, but this just moves so slow that I can't really in good faith tell you to buy that. And BP is in the same bucket. It just moves so slow. So it's kind of useless to you unless you're trading with a couple $100 million, which if you're watching this video and you are that guy, head over to stockscommunity.com, join for $25, share a pizza with us for 7 days. But those are the peers. And Oxy as well is another one that is often talked about and not really going anywhere. So it's got to be Chevron. Here's the deal. What does Chevron do, right? They do oil, okay, whatever. This Hess acquisition was, is finally getting accounted for on its balance sheet, I guess, several $100 million. They've been talking about that Hess acquisition for a while, but I guess now it actually matters to the stock price. And they're going to spend some money on that, on those assets. So working capital outflow of $1.5 billion. So these are big numbers, but I swear I've seen this Hess acquisition info here for months, if not 6 months. So I don't think this is anything unexpected. 40,000 barrels per day. I'm not an oil man, but I have to think that is not the majority of their production from Venezuela, even though it's cut by half. So I could be wrong, but current export levels is stabilized around $100,000, followed a temporary pause from Venezuela. So whatever, stabilized sounds good. We don't have to know exactly what's going on, but we do know that the chart looks good, and they're expanding $50 billion into Kazakhstan. And even in the U.S. Gulf of Mexico, they are expected to contribute 75,000 barrels per day. So that's a lot. That's pretty close to the Venezuelan output. Cutting some jobs, that actually is good for the stock price, even though it might not be something we want to champion. And then, yeah, they do have the coastal damage lawsuits and litigation issues. Oil companies always have that stuff going on. And, hopefully they have some good lawyers on that. Or if they were really acting imprudently, they get their ass handed to them. And, we suffer as shareholders a little bit. It's only right. But other than that, I have to think that, this is a small number, $8 million, as far as the market cap of Chevron is concerned. This is kind of where we talk about this Hess thing. Short-term costs. And this is at a time where oil is kind of the buy, so I don't know exactly how to deal with that. And that does kind of, make you think, okay, if, there's concerns with Russia, Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. If oil's the buy right now, and we're not oil traders, so we're not going to focus on OPEC, although we really should. Right now, in the next week, if Chevron has some of these issues with the Hess acquisition actually hurting their books, then maybe ExxonMobil is the play. But again, there are fundamental investors who will tell you which one is the better buy, and this just looks so choppy that even though this last month looks great, I can't trust that. Like, yes, it looks like some type of upward action, but that's not really enough. So I gotta still think Chevron's the move. They're the place to sort of risk maybe 160 is a whole dollar level, going back to this sort of massive resistance is in the 160s. Sort of makes sense. I am reaching a little bit. You can see that's the most volume traded to give you a play at all today because everything's down. But if there is one, sorry, I'm just trying to highlight this so we can, goodness gracious, see it in more detail. If there is a play, this has got to be it. This is the flag. That's the breakout opportunity. And if you like these videos, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified. I think you only get notified a few times a day, so don't worry if there's a bunch of videos flying your way. You just check out the ones that you're interested in, and then I'll realize, oh, they're interested in this one. The people who sign up, they watch these ones. The people who don't. That's what we're trying to do, build a community over at saucecommunity.com. Try it out for $25 for 7 days. We have our live stream starting in just 40 minutes here in the course member area. And if you, again, haven't hit that like button and you like it, then like it. Don't like it if you don't like it. That'll send the wrong signal. See you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.